haven't played that game much.
Welcome everybody to the channel, pre-recorded me rather than live stream me, Sabotage Games. We're going to be doing the DR3 challenge around Kota. EA Sports are doing a free weekend on the game iPhone 22 this weekend to celebrate obviously the Grand Prix, obviously happening in real life. So Daniel Ricciardo set a 1:33.5, if I can remember correctly, and I'm not sure how many laps he did. So this is my first attempt at doing this in the game. Now, I haven't actually played this game a lot, so at all really, to be fair. I did like a few hours on the EA Sports, the Origin version, but this is on Steam, so I had to quickly set this up. I did about an hour or so. Of course, live streamed on my Twitch channel, Sabotage Games. All the links will be in the description over there, and you'll see it on screen. So this is the first attempt. So coming out of the first corner here, this is no setup or anything like that to start with. I watch a lot of TRL Limitless's videos, and when he does like the time trial world record attempts, obviously not going to be anywhere near his pace. But what he does and what he says in his videos is he goes out with no setup or anything like that, and then just learns the track. I do know Kota fairly well. I did it in a few league races a few years ago, but it's not one of my strongest tracks. I did say that in the stream, I'm pretty sure as well. But I knew the track, so I had a little bit of like a head start in terms of like not having to learn the track first. So I could like push sort of straight away, if that makes sense. Obviously, like, you know, like I say, I haven't driven it in these cars on this game, so the handling model is slightly different, of course, and stuff like that. And been playing a lot of ACC as well. Sorry, and a set of Corsa as well. So like this game, a little bit alien to me, but not too much, which is not too bad. So first lap, like I said, just getting around, getting a feel for it all, getting used to the car, the track, the handling model and stuff like that. Obviously invalidating, of course, straight away. There's a lot of invalidation laps I've actually did set, which I didn't include in this video, but of course you can go back on my Twitch channel and watch the VOD for the entire full live stream. So I did this for about, like I say, about an hour, 50 minutes or so I think I was in the end, and then I did some open lobbies. So coming around to the penultimate corner, through the penultimate corner, obviously nowhere near the limit, and then come around the last corner, just like I say, just to set a few times. We're starting off with a 39.2. So I went into the settings, opened up the brake saturation a little bit more, went to 25 I think. This just allows me to brake a little bit later, kind of like shortens the brake distance, if that makes sense, like on the pedal in real life. And then starting to find the limit a little bit here. So as you can see, coming through, start a new lap, started to find, you know, the limit a little bit more, and starting to chase the time. So it comes to the first corner, hooking up the first corner a little bit, well, nice line until I got on the exit of the corner and spin it straight round, straight on the reset. So you're going to drive straight into the next lap here, not running on the curb until absolutely necessary, coming into the corner, trying to open as much as I can. First corner, of course, uphill is blind, so taking the exit a little bit more narrow this time, and not running so wide. At this point in time, I was still trying to like find where I could push and where I could go flat and stuff like that. But at this moment as well, in my head, I was just thinking I just need to want to put in a valid lap time. It doesn't really necessarily matter too much this point in terms of like mistakes or like not maximizing corners, if that makes sense. As you can see, like fighting the car on the exit there, not to run across the white line, because that is brutal, that exit of that corner before the downhill section. Like if you put the tyre on the white line, then I find you'll get invalidated. Getting a nice drive onto the main straight here, open up the DRS, gear 7 into gear 8. I found as well, like, after watching a few videos, that like obviously in this game, and a lot of people say as well, you need to be in the high gears, stay in the high gears. I'm running medium traction control. Other than that, every other assist is off. I think like people that are watching the videos running no TC are going to be staying in high gear, so don't spin the wheels up. So I went down a gear, I found, towards the end of the session. So like Brendan Lee was coming into fourth through here, but whereas I was going into third, I think, just to kind of negate the TC there. So rounding up into the third sector here, this is not a bad lap. We're nearly a second up. Actually, in fact, we are a second up now. So let's not bin it. Coming into the last penultimate corner there. Could have probably found a bit more time through there, taking it a bit easier. I think, again, just trying to keep the lap validated rather, not invalidated. Coming across the line, so we come into a 37.2. So we are starting to find time, but we've got a long way to go.
I don't like about time trials, this track restrictions are just horrendous. I don't even want to set him as the rival. I didn't mean to do that. I'm not going to catch him by any stretch. But it might be interesting to see his lines though, see what racing lines they take him. if I can stay anywhere near him.
So as you just saw there, putting on Danny Beresne's setup, Alfa Romeo's esports driver, he did a 31.2 second in the world. That is absolutely rapid. Now, as you just heard as well, I didn't actually mean to set him as the rival, but I was going to set someone else as the rival that was like a few seconds quicker, but like not obviously that fast, because they're like, I think in the end about 3 to 4 seconds faster than me with my fastest lap time. But at the same time, like I said, it's not a bad idea like setting someone like that as your rival, because you can see their lines, you can see where they're braking. Of course, like this is probably, like I say, extreme in this case, because he, like as you can see, just absolutely pulling away from me. But it's interesting to see. I kept thinking like his drive or like his exit out of the first corner when I was actually close to him. It's a shame, like on Gran Turismo Sport, for example, or Gran Turismo 7, you can actually watch back the leader's like lap time, which you can't do this in this game. So you kind of like, when I got to this point in the lap, for example, like he was so far ahead, it doesn't really make a difference like what he was doing, because I couldn't really see what he was doing. But as you just saw, obviously invalidating, but putting the setup on, instantly finding like at this point 6-7 tenths of a second, 8 tenths of a second, it's just climbing. So the setup obviously is going to make a difference. I knew it wasn't going to be the absolute magic bullet to just all of a sudden find 3 seconds, but I knew that it would help. So I kind of like didn't want to stay too long on running like no setup, because I knew there was just kind of a bit pointless doing that really, because at the end of the day you're going to hit a ceiling and the car's going to be the limiting factor to a degree. I mean, I'm not saying I'm like absolute Lewis Hamilton, for example, but like you will get to that point. So coming across the line then, theoretically a 35.9 to open the account, but obviously invalidated. So we're going to go again for a valid lap, but at the same time just learning where the car is. I mean, this car is extremely pointy, which means you're going to get a lot of oversteer on entry, which I found out quite a lot. I mean, unless the car is absolutely like on rails, then it's going to be in the wall. And you would have seen that on the stream as well. Like I was putting in the wall, meeting barrier, as Super GT would say.
Car's very pointy.
So then here we go for my fastest lap of the session, starting a new one, getting on the DRS as soon as possible, climbing up the gears up into 8th gear. Like I said earlier, not going onto the cub unless until absolutely the last moment, just so I don't scrub speed off, hooking up the corner nicely there, and trying to get the best drive as possible. Obviously Beresne just pulling away, so let's forget about that goes for a second, but staying in the middle of the track, keeping it flat through these 2 corners, lifting a little bit, coming down the gears into 6th, into 5th, and then carrying the speed as much as I can. Went down a few gears here as well, so at this point I was still trying to work out the gears, and through here as well, like I was just struggling a little bit. That was my big weakest point of the circuit. I did after that like change this, the gearing a little bit on where I was changing down and changing up, which did help. But coming down onto the into this main straight here, getting on the DRS right about now, climbing up through the gears again, like I say, like just trying to carry the speed as much as possible, should I say. Half a second up at the moment. Again, there was time in this corner that I wasn't really finding. You can cut that corner a lot more than I was, but I was just finding on the entry, I just couldn't get the car turned in. I was trying also, and I think I again said this in the stream, I was trying different things, different lines, different braking points, and like I said, different gearing like times when I was shifting up and down, and just seeing what worked. Some of it didn't, some of it didn't, some of it did, some of it didn't. And coming on to the last few corners, obviously flat through those couple of right-handers, hooking up this corner quite nicely actually, but maybe could have got a bit better on the exit. You can see my ghost in the background is quite far ahead of behind us right now. Coming up into the line, it's going to be a 35.4.
We're getting there.
Unfortunately, after that, the mistakes started to creep in. I was probably up at about 40-45 minutes worth of like just running now, as you can see, started invalidating. I wasn't trying to restart so much unless like as I was at the start, like for example coming to the last corner and make like go long, and then I'd like restart. But I try and like do the whole lap just so you learn the muscle memory and stuff like that. But guys, that's going to do it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you do enjoy. Leave a comment down below, just below that subscribe button and the like button. what you think of these videos, if I should do more in the future. I'm going to probably do another one as well, doing a little over a few Set Corsa race I did recently as well, which I'm thinking, and then just overall like more streams I'll do in the future. But like I say, thank you guys, like and share, and I will see you out on the circuit. Thank you very much.